Hello and welcome back to Crypto's News. It is me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto. Very excited to be talking about what is going on in cryptocurrency as usual to make sure you stay on top of things. Thank you so much for the unyielding support from folks like Liam here in the chat, from those of you who support on Patreon, for those of you who just show up during the live streams or give a like, a huge thank you. And if you have yet to do so, please remember to subscribe so you can stay on top of what's happening in crypto yourself with the rest of us. So let's go ahead and dive right into things. So despite purchases from Michael Saylor and his company MicroStrategy, well, maybe not Michael Saylor himself, MicroStrategy today bought like another 300 Bitcoins or $6 million, something like that. We still had a sell-off today that brought Bitcoin down about 3.7% to $18,877. We also have Ethereum down 4.3%, down to $1,323. 93 cents. This is ahead of the FOMC meeting that is taking place tomorrow. So you'll be able to tune in live. Usually they live stream those, and you can check that out on the official website of the Federal Reserve. And a lot of people are going to be looking at that. A lot of traders are going to be looking at that. A lot of institutional firms and trading desks are going to be looking at that, trying to gauge where we're going to be headed, because we've heard from the Federal Reserve that they want to cause pain. What exactly? Like, they're willing to let some pain happen in order to reel in inflation. So people are going to be looking out after 2 months since the last meeting for exactly what kind of pain could be coming to markets, and maybe even jobs in the near term, and what they're thinking about this soft landing and possible recession, and their wording around that could be very important. So I think that's probably why we're seeing a bit of a sell-off today ahead of that. Usually these meetings cause a lot of volatility. It's a difficult time to try to trade around. I suppose if we got like a 50 basis point rate hike, then markets would jump up higher. I can't, and maybe even if they climb 75 basis points, as 82% of the market polled pretty much believe is going to be the rate hike tomorrow, while 18% believe it's going to be a 100 basis point hike, which I think could lead to more downside potentially. So I think what we're seeing with the price action is people trying to trade ahead of that. Hey, good evening, Kevin, over there in Florida. I've been to Lakeland. I remember I went there for a theater competition when I was in high school. We had our one acts there. Such a lovely place. I fell in love with it. I think it was like one of the it was like a small town kind of feel when I went, and I had never really seen much of that, having grown up in New York and then Miami. So I just found it to be a super pleasant place. I hope you're loving it, Kevin. Hey, Meredith, as well as Josh and everyone else who's joining us. I want to give you thanks for participating. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the news. So OpenSea has announced that they're going to be opening up soon on Arbitrum. So I did talk about Arbitrum yesterday, sidechain for Ethereum that allows you to take advantage of way faster speeds and execution, and also much lower fees. You just basically have to bridge funds such as Ethereum using the bridge, and then move those over to Arbitrum, where you can interact with different decentralized applications. Arbitrum has become more and more popular. OpenSea, the most popular NFT platform, is even moving over. So they announced today. We're excited to share that OpenSea will soon support Arbitrum. This is a first step in building our goal of a Web3 future where people have access to the NFTs they want on the chains they prefer. We're now almost ready to onboard amazing collections like Smolverse, G Blueberry Club, and Diamond Pepes by Dopex onto OpenSea after working with the Arbitrum team and several projects on the chain. We can't wait to meet the rest of the community. Our plan is to launch Arbitrum on OpenSea tomorrow, September 21st. After launch, creators will need to find their collections in OpenSea and set their creator fees directly. We encourage creators to do this at launch if this applies to you, to be ready for any new transactions. Watch this space tomorrow. We'll be here to make sure the Arbitrum community is ready to go. In the meantime, don't hesitate to drop questions below. Stay tuned for even more updates in the weeks ahead. If you were like, can OpenSea just go one day without making some sort of announcement? I guess not, but at least they're almost legitimate announcements, right? They're not announcements of announcements, which is what we like to see. So this originally created a little bit of concern earlier. It was leaked by a DB account on Twitter, but then we actually saw the real article that Bloomberg did indeed post, that they had seen a draft copy of a bill that might propose a ban on certain stable coins. So first, people were naturally concerned on Twitter, thinking this could apply to all sorts of stable coins. A 2-year ban potentially on what, like DAI? How do you even enforce that? Or USDC? But it's come out, this is more for the Terra-like stable coins, as you can see here. Under the current draft of the bill, it would be illegal to issue or create new endogenously collateralized stablecoins, according to a copy of the legislation obtained by Bloomberg. This definition would kick in for stablecoins marketed as being able to be converted, redeemed, or repurchased for a fixed amount of monetary value, and that rely on the value of another digital asset from the same creator to maintain their fixed price, such as Terra USD, also known as UST, which was designed to maintain a one-for-one peg to the US dollar through an algorithm and trading in a sister token called Luna. That experiment failed spectacularly, if somehow you've been under a rock and have missed that one. When UST crashed in May, resulting in billions of dollars of losses and prompting policymakers to take renewed interest in stablecoin. So it looks like this bill could be voted on as early as next week. But Brad Sherman, I remember he's one of the most anti-crypto legislators out there, one of the most senior Democrats on the committee, told Bloomberg Tuesday that a markup date hasn't yet been decided, but the window for considering the bill for the end of the year is shrinking because of the upcoming midterm elections, throwing a wrench into the process. So this could ultimately turn into a big nothing, but it could pose a problem, I suppose, if you're involved in developing some sort of algorithmic stablecoin like this, or whatever they're calling endogenously collateralized stablecoins. But at least it's not all stablecoins, as it's become a bigger reason for concern that it could be the case. For example, you had Jake Chervinsky say this on Twitter. It's hard to overstate the damage that Terra has done to the perception of crypto in DC. Many policymakers already dislike the notion of a permissionless digital marketplace and wanted to put all of crypto into a well-sealed box. Terra, unfortunately, gave them the unjust cause to push forward. Last week's reports in response to the president's crypto EO were pretty grim, where he had asked for that report on crypto to figure out how he would move forward with regulation, thinking about it, his administration. They almost read like a rejection of the idea of decentralization itself. A lot of crypto policy people think those reports could have looked very different if not for Terra and its ensuing fallout. Those well-educated on crypto understand that Terra doesn't represent all stablecoins. Celsius wasn't DeFi. Three Arrows Capital had nothing to do with the technology, etc. But as in all things, it's a lot harder to engage with those nuances than to say simply, crypto bad, regulated to death. So, I mean, it's good then that it's not just an attempt to ban all crypto or even ban all stablecoins now that we have seen perhaps or heard more about what this legislation could be looking like, although it looks like it's still subject to change. What's up, Validator ETH? Thank you for joining us. Yo, yo, yo. I wait for that yo, yo, yo when you show up in the chat. There it is. So Nasdaq has announced that they're establishing a new digital asset business. So it doesn't matter who you are. It looks like you have to pay attention to crypto. And Nasdaq has finally announced the beginnings of their offerings and related to what they're going to be doing with crypto. And that is for institutional clients. It says today here on the press release, today announced the launch of Nasdaq Digital Assets, a new business that will power the digital asset ecosystem. So the fact that they're saying an ecosystem talks about how they are trying to do more than just one thing in relation to cryptos and building out a whole crypto multiverse, I guess you could say, of utility. The launch underpins Nasdaq's ambition to advance and help facilitate broader institutional participation. So they're interested in helping even more institutions on board into crypto by providing trusted and institutional grade solutions focused on enhanced custody, which is going to be their primary focus at the beginning, at the outset, liquidity and integrity. What's going on, Nicholas? You're into Pirate Chain? Arr! Pirates. There's a new Monkey Island game. I don't know if you guys have played Monkey Island. I grew up playing PC games like since 1998, and one of the earliest games that I played was the Monkey Island series, and I just found out a new one came out yesterday. I haven't gotten it, but yeah, I'm with the pirate scene. Although I haven't dug into the tokens very much, I'll admit. Anyway, so they're going to be offering initially an advanced custody solution that will incorporate liquidity and execution services to address industry challenges around connectivity, availability, and efficiency. Although granted, we have been getting more and more options that have so far seem to be quite airtight when it comes to protecting crypto for, I guess, institutional primarily, although there are, of course, better and better options for retail as well. This custody solution that they're offering Nasdaq is going to bring the best attributes, they say, of hot and cold wallets to allow a high degree of accessibility and scalability without compromising security. Well, we'll see how you pull that hot wallet part off. And it's still subject to regulatory approval in certain jurisdictions. So wanted to give you a heads up there that Nasdaq is getting involved. It could be potentially that the custody is the first part and they're going to be offering some sort of full exchanging service in the future. And they are a trusted name, so it could definitely give more credibility to cryptocurrency as an asset class to those institutions that just have still yet to care. See that Nasdaq is getting involved here. Hey, Soda, nice to see you. So, oh, it looks like I got kicked off here. Oh no. Oh no. I was trying to show you guys something. Oh yeah, right here. If we go to colorado.gov, the wonderful state of Colorado has made crypto, is the only state right now that accepts cryptocurrency for state tax payments. You can check that out if you go to the Revenue Online website. You click make a payment, and you'll see on the left that you have now an option for cryptocurrency. It's going to have a service fee of $1 plus 1.83% of the payment amount. That's pretty big. 1.83% of the payment amount seems pretty steep to me. But debit or credit card seems even higher. I mean, 2.25% of the payment amount. But anyway, these cryptocurrency payments are not just, unfortunately, you get some sort of address and can send from your wallet directly, as would be nice, right? Actually supporting the blockchain ecosystem. Instead, this is going to be done through the PayPal cryptocurrencies hub. So only PayPal personnel accounts can pay using cryptocurrency. Not even business accounts of PayPal, boo, can pay using cryptocurrency. You have to send the entire value of the invoice in a single cryptocurrency. You can't divide payments. I mean, what is this really solving? I'm not entirely sure. Is this just trying to make Colorado look good and make, I suppose, the governor seem more appealing for cryptocurrency voters and contributors? It seems most likely the case, although it is following up on in some sort of way, the promise of Governor Jared Polis, who had wanted to make an option for Colorado residents to pay using cryptocurrency taxes. He said he wanted the state to become the first to let residents pay in taxes, and he signaled a hands-off approach to regulation of cryptocurrencies, when he signed a law in 2019 that exempts so-called digital tokens from securities laws that govern things like stocks and bonds. I must have missed that news, but that seems pretty cool. Of course, SEC still wants to get involved in everything, as you'll see later on as we continue if you missed that bit of news. But they're not really the first state to accept cryptocurrency as payments for state taxes ever. That actually belongs that award to Ohio, who did that in 2018. We've had New Hampshire trying to do it, but some of their bills haven't gone through, and other states have said that they've thought about that, but right now it does look like Colorado is the only place where you can kind of pay in your cryptocurrencies, assuming you have a PayPal account and you park your crypto there. Anyway, he had said that he wanted this to happen by summer. Here we are. Is it summer, or are we still in, or are we not in fall, in autumn? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But if we're still in summer, I guess he managed to hit his deadline. It's exciting, he said in February, speaking to a crowd at the ETH Denver convention. It's exciting, but I don't want to make it sound like more than it is. It's not. Because we still budget and spend money in dollars. That's still where the world is. That's where the government is. So this money that they accept through PayPal does get immediately converted into dollars that go into the treasury. So don't be too excited to think that Colorado is going to be having a treasury of actual cryptocurrency. So just kind of nothing news, but it's a better step than nothing. It's not rejecting. It's more in the step of loving crypto, which is what it deserves. Crypto loves you and you should love it. Oh, I haven't seen what's going on with Wyoming, actually. Can you pay your taxes in Wyoming? Now paying your taxes can be a taxable event. I love that, TJ. That's great. Yeah, Jared Polis, again, the governor of Colorado, has been into crypto for some time. I mean, he was at ETH Denver, as you saw. He also had said this in June 13th on Twitter. I'm beyond excited to announce my campaign is dropping an exclusive collection of NFTs. I've always supported emerging technology, and I'm looking forward to be among the first to implement NFTs into campaigns. Cool. Very nice. I wonder how much he was able to raise for these NFTs. I don't know. It looks like a baseball card, kind of. Making NFTs look like they're physical, but they're not. I don't know. I guess you could print it. Roger Ver said this, and for some reason, Twitter has not much to talk about today, so this just kind of blew up. EVM, Ethereum virtual machine chains, seem to be the future. Hashtag Ethereum. So if you don't know Roger Ver, as it says here, world's first inventor in Bitcoin startups, including Bitcoin.com, Blockchain.com, Ripple, Zcash, BitPay, Kraken, Purse.io, and more. Interested in voluntarism. I mean, he hit a lot of the major companies. His involvement with them surely made them last the test of time. One of the projects he's best known for is Bitcoin Cash. If you say Bcash, he might get upset, but I imagine he's become a little bit more desensitized to that kind of insult as of late. But anyway, it's that he is. Some are saying, "Oh wow, he's finally ditching Bcash for Ethereum." When, as far as I know, Roger Ver has been very Ethereum friendly for a long time. Hell, I was the Ethereum guy, and he's been on my show, and he's chatted with me constantly, and never really said anything negative about Ethereum at all. In fact, I believe back in 2017, it had come out that he had sold Bitcoin. He had different altcoins, including Dash. He had some Monero, and he probably had some Ethereum as well. I don't remember exactly him saying that, but why wouldn't he have an altcoin like Ethereum? So this is more like he's just realizing that perhaps governments are going to be building things out using Ethereum-derived chains, or that if Ethereum being the leader is going to have more and more chains connected to it, kind of being like the Cosmos. like what the Atom token hopes to be, like the multiverse of blockchains, but connected to and through Ethereum. I don't know. I think as many blockchains as possible will be connected as they can going forward, and I think that's great, enabling more liquidity and enabling more access to dApps, and hopefully that'll happen with less friction as we go forward. But yeah, he seems excited about Ethereum, so cool, Roger. I'm still excited myself. Very cool. eCash soon. Ultrasound money. So I just took a look today. This is just insane to me. Speaking of Ethereum, that right since the merge, we've only issued 3,690 ETH. But if we were to still be on proof of work, check out how much ETH it would be today. It would be 71,313. So a huge difference from about 4,000 ETH to 70,000 ETH. It's radical difference. And I do expect that ultimately this is going to be reflecting in the price, which is why it would be scary to be completely out of Ethereum. I don't know when we're going to begin to really feel the supply and demand really coming into play here. But I imagine a lot of speculators who didn't want to sell are probably selling or have sold already within this short time range that we're in. So I just think it's the macro game. But once the macro switches, I find it very difficult to find another asset that seems like it has the consistency, the safety profile, the uptime, and the trust and the amount of developers, traction, everything else as Ethereum. I really still think that Ethereum is just it's what Roger Ver said, man. It's what Roger Ver said. Although Bitcoin has a place, of course, and I think stablecoins still have a place. Even though, for example, you have exchanges like Huobi Global banning, for example, Monero and other privacy coins for trading, you're always going to have that other exchange pop up somewhere because someone is going to want to allow for that trading to earn some sort of fees and revenue. So these cryptocurrencies that have a real solution, that are demanded for whatever purpose, are always going to have some sort of value and some sort of place to trade them, as long as they're not an outright scam, rug pull, and they're unique. So I think Ethereum as a smart contract platform is just still a leader. Although it's nice to see gas prices low, there does seem to be more demand. I mean, lessening demand right now for block space, and that's probably why you're having a positive supply growth rather than a burn over the year. But still, check this out. We're only up 0.14% over the year, assuming we have the continued numbers on a yearly basis. But if we were on proof of work, it would be almost 4% higher, the supply. So, I mean, we've still seen Ethereum climb higher and higher in price. So some sort of, again, triple happening, like all of this playing out is, I think, going to be wild when it really kicks in. That's just what I'm thinking. Any Wintermute hack update? Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to look too much into it. I just know that there was like a $180 million hack of Wintermute, but unfortunately, I didn't pull that up, Vic. But thank you. If somebody is associated with Wintermute, or if that news is relevant to you, there was a hack, as far as I know, with Wintermute. So check out news for that if that's particular to you. I thought this was interesting. So I ran across this quote by Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase. He said this: one of the strongest policy arguments for cryptocurrency is that it's a national security issue. The US missed on semiconductors and 5G, which is now largely manufactured offshore. We might have had the chance to produce these at a bigger scale and create bigger industries for them here in the United States, but we were too slow to really embrace them, I guess you could say. At least production of those things here. It can't afford to have cryptocurrency go offshore as well. Same for every country, by the way. So what we've talked about before, you shoot yourself in the foot when you over-regulate and you stop innovation and you cause that innovation to move offshore. The world is a bigger place than just one country, even if it is the US. Regulation by enforcement has a terribly chilling effect, and rhetoric matters. We've already seen a huge amount of crypto talent, asset issuers, and startups go offshore. Coinbase is a global company, but we're based right here in the USA, and we will fight to make sure crypto succeeds here for everyone. It's too important to America and the free world. So I think what he's talking about here is in relation to this. That was, I think, again, just being misread. People are trying to create all this SEC FUD out of nothing. In a way, it's kind of good because it's like, okay, let's not just let them say anything. Let's call them out for this shit. Let's not let them change wording. I really appreciate that. But people instead create weird headlines around what the SEC says about crypto. So check out this one on Yahoo Finance. Ethereum price drops 20%. That's how do you know that this is why it dropped 20%? As SEC declares control over network. Control over the network? Gary Gensler, chairman of the US SEC. The SEC says that since a majority of Ethereum transactions are validated in the US, it should be regulated in the US. First, that was never said. That was posted based on the Ian Bellina lawsuit that we talked about yesterday on this show, where we looked at he was being sued for his involvement with the Sparkster token. But some of the wording in there might have made it look like because all majority of nodes, about 45%, are here in the United States, that the SEC has jurisdiction over the entire network. That's what folks are saying anyway. So Victor Bunin had this to say on Twitter: I have literally never seen such an explicit directive from the government to move innovation overseas. So kind of in line with what Brian Armstrong said and is reading into this by. They are asking for the US to be left behind, wild and sad. So here's a quote that everyone is up in arms around. The US-based investors in Bellina's pool irrevocably committed to the transaction when, from within the United States, they sent their ETH contributions to Bellina's pool. At that point, their ETH contributions were validated by a network of nodes on the Ethereum blockchain, which are clustered more densely in the United States than in any other country. As a result, those transactions took place in the United States. Yeah, to say that so firmly is obviously bogus and misleading. So I can understand why some people didn't appreciate the wording around this. And but I think it's really not much reason to be completely scared of things. What is the worst that they can say? That they're going to try to regulate certain tokens as securities? They're already doing that on the Ethereum network. It just doesn't seem like a huge change and much reason for people to be so upset. But I would like to see more diversity, of course, move away from the United States or any sort of central location. And that applies to any sort of area when it comes to decentralization. But decentralization is difficult for many different reasons. And as long as we're on track to decentralize further over time, I think that's a good thing. And so hopefully we get more and more clients. We allow more and more options for people to stake, so they stop staking so much on Lido and on Coinbase, for example. I understand some of the problems, but some of them are overblown, right? Like Lido has 29 different nodes, so it's not just one central party there. You could really call it. But yeah, it's always nice to see centralization become a hot topic because it's exactly what crypto was born as. A big reason crypto was born for was that discussion about centralization and to protect us through decentralization. I think there's a lot of problem when too much power accumulates in very few hands, for sure, who think they may know better for a larger group. I believe that's called fascism. I could be wrong. Anyway, we'll finish with our show here. I hope you guys did enjoy it. FTC pushing out SEC. I must have missed that one. I'm not entirely sure what you're saying about in regards to that, Nicholas Canada. But please let me know what news I missed besides this down below in the comments so other people can upvote and get involved in the discussion as well. And here is our funny quote of the day. We'll leave it nice and light on this fine, what is it, Tuesday? All my life, I thought air was free until I bought a bag of chips. And you're buying more and more air, though, through inflation. That's the good thing. Take care, everyone. Much love. Thank you for your support. I remind you, if you have yet to do so and want to hit that like button, subscribe, and enable notifications so that you can join the live streams as well when we are talking about the news as it's rolling out. Take care, everyone. Much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.